Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, or doesn't even suggest, we just come out and say it, is it not the continued covert attempt to colonize Thailand in the form of this continued effort by foreign powers to move Thailand under the OECD? That's what we're getting at here. And what I find really interesting is I did not come upon this via the English language press here in Thailand, which is curious considering it directly pertains to the British ambassador here in Thailand. But if you were looking at the English language press of the last couple of days, you wouldn't have seen a word about this. But in the Thai press, it was there. I'm going to throw this up, the Thai headline. We'll go ahead and use it for the thumbnail too. So I'll go ahead and put a link in the description below. You can go back and see the original Thai version. But it is on BangkokBiz, B-I-Z News.com, BangkokBiz, B-I-Z News.com. We will leave that up there on the screen. But I'll go ahead and, in English, sort of translate while that's on screen. We'll go back and forth here in any event. Quoting directly from the translation, we have this translated here in the office. I'm going to quote from the translation. I'll just sort of leave it up and we'll scroll down along the Thai version. Quoting directly, the National Economics and Social Development Council, NESDC, in Thailand held discussions with the British ambassador to support Thailand in becoming a member of the OECD. What's crucial to understand here, support Thailand in becoming. Thailand is not part of the OECD now. It requires affirmative promulgation through parliament, due legislative process here in Thailand. And if it's not readily apparent from my prior videos, I think this is awful. I think Thailand shouldn't do this. There is a mechanism to turn all of this around. The US has already done it. I'll get into that later in the analysis. But in my mind, if you look at this, I think a lot of this violate, especially in certain contexts, let's just say there's implications pertaining to Section 119 of the Criminal Code, depending on certain aspects of this. Again, it's criminal in Thailand, it's my understanding, to try to bring any aspect of the country under the sovereignty of something else or to hinder the independence and autonomy of Thailand. OECD does that. That said, quoting further, the NESDC recently disclosed that the United Kingdom is ready to support Thailand to become a member of the OECD. Oh, I'm sure they are, yeah. Quoting further, and will also join hands on the issue of green economy, trade, investment, including exchange of knowledge in future industries. What's that? You know, I mean, and by the way, stop talking to Thailand, Britain, like this is like 1908 and you have the latest in steam engine technology or something, okay? You know, I mean, what was the deal that just got done with the Chinese? You know, I mean, just stop this. I hate this OECD, okay? I think it's the worst thing Thailand can be involved in. So if I'm hyperbolic about that, I'm sorry. Generally speaking, I'm a bit of an Anglophile. I rather like the UK, I like the British. But this OECD, I don't even think this is British. Probably most British people, if you talk to them, they're like, I don't know what that is and don't want it when it's explained to me, and probably not good for Thailand. So, you know, but that said, I mean, why is this? I find it really fascinating. This is continuing. The Americans have completely dropped out of it, which leads, I mean, okay, I have an American background, fine. But objectively, when one of the main superpowers on earth is just like, no, we're not doing that, the other two clearly don't care one way or another. And then this old remnant sort of warship from like, you know, from the British Empire rolls up and says, yeah, but you need to join with us. Like, well, do we? You know. That said, quoting further, and especially green economy, trade, investment, what does that mean? You know, you've been trading with Thailand for decades. If you go back far enough, that trade wasn't too fair, Britain. Ever hear of the Bowring Treaty? Yeah, us Americans never had one of those because it wasn't very fair. Let's put it that way. And the investment wasn't the greatest thing for Thailand. That said, quoting further, Mr. Danucha Pichayanun, the Secretary General of NESDC, has advised that recently he held a meeting with His Excellency Mr. Mark Gooding, the British Ambassador to Thailand, together with officials from the NESDC and representatives of the British Embassy. And I love how they announced that, that's a big, broad, the big tent, a lot of people were there. No, the Brits were there and some people from this bureaucracy were there. Quoting further, the British ambassador stated he was very willing to support the process for Thailand to become a member of the OECD. Yeah, I'm sure he would, because through refractive legality and offsets in this tax sort of supranational scheme, they can suck wealth out of Thailand. Yeah, I'm sure they'd love it. Quoting further, and stated he was ready to work closely with Thailand in all aspects, especially cooperation with regards to trade and investment, the transformation towards green economy, and green money, including the exchange of knowledge and expertise in various aspects of related development. Again, what does any of that mean? What's green money? I thought the US dollar was green money. Quoting further, both sides also indicated that they were ready to expand their cooperation in the economy and continued development towards economic growth and a continuing good relationship between Thailand and the United Kingdom. Oh yeah, such a great relationship. Lo these centuries, constant encroachment and, come on. Quoting further, furthermore, both sides discussed and exchanged views regarding the economy, trade and investment between countries, and also reformation towards a green economy. How about just an economy where people make money? Quoting further, the Secretary General of the NESDC stated that Thailand was making important moves forward, such as the development of electrical vehicles. Yeah, great. Meanwhile, we need industrial capacity out here. And there's serious, if you're not seeing, look, say what you will about Elon Musk. He's a great businessman. There's people who'd argue maybe he's a bit of a grifter. But it looks to me like the EV horse has run its course, at least in the United States. So pushing this notion of more EVs like it's some great boon to Thailand. Thailand needs industrial capacity, okay? We don't need technological novelty, all right? That said, quoting further, the semiconductor industry, pharmaceutical industry, and also the development of Thai labor skills in preparation for future industries. Yeah, forgive me if I'm just not exactly thinking that, the British are going to come out here and be teaching a bunch of Thais some labor skills. Quoting further, the Secretary General also confirmed that Thailand was ready to support long-term resident visas to experts from United Kingdom who could support the Thai industrial sector. Yeah, again, the industrial sector, but do we need people coming out to do EVs and stuff? The Chinese are down here making so many EVs, they've gone, and nobody's buying them. And they've had to go back to the government. We did the video on this with their cap in their hand to ask for more money. Quoting further, so what, the British want to get in on that? Is that what we're hearing? Oh yeah, all the Brits can get long-term resident visas to come out here and stick their heads in that trough? What a great deal for Thailand this is. Quoting further, investors from the United Kingdom who were coming to invest in Thailand and also to support an exchange of knowledge in topics in which the United Kingdom had expertise. Yeah, well, okay, what does that mean now? In any event, look, I'm not going to be really down to clown with anybody coming around here talking about OECD, okay? It's terrible. Let's see what the President of the United States had to say specifically about OECD. Memorandum for the Secretary of the Treasury. Let's put this on screen. United States Trade Representative, Permanent Representative of the United States to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. Quoting directly, subject, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, Global Tax Deal. The OECD Global Tax Deal, supported under the prior administration, not only allows extraterritorial jurisdiction. That means jurisdiction of powers not within the country you're talking about. That means foreigners will have jurisdiction over us here in Thailand if this is adopted. I'm not surprised the British ambassador is here and there's no great fanfare in the English language press talking about this initiative. Quoting further, over American income, but also limits our nation's ability to enact tax policies. Enact tax policies. This could restrict and limit Thailand's ability to enact new tax policies. Quoting further, that serve the interests of the American businesses and workers because of the global tax deal and other discriminatory foreign tax practices. American companies may face retaliatory international tax regimes if the United States does not comply with foreign tax policy objectives. Policy matters are reserved to the sovereign. That's who sets policy here in Thailand, anywhere else in the United States. That's a sovereign prerogative. The President of the United States said that this deal would impinge on that type of sovereign prerogative. Now, I'm not saying he's right, but when the President of the United States says something of this magnitude and Thailand is thinking of joining this kind of deal, and it may restrict sovereignty and sovereign prerogatives, it has to be brought to the forefront and articulated as clearly as possible. Quoting further, this memorandum recaptures our nation's sovereignty and economic competitiveness by clarifying that the global tax deal has no force or effect in the United States. And this is the deal they're trying to bring Thailand under with this OECD, this global minimum tax, as talked about in the predecessor prime minister here in Thailand, who's no longer prime minister, which I think is probably a good thing based on the fact he was trying to bring in this global minimum tax nonsense. Now, unfortunately, the current prime minister, in my opinion, has danced a little too close, if you will, to the World Economic Forum. I mean, she's gone there and stuff. But that said, so have others. And I'm not going to hold her completely to the fire over this right now. I'm waiting to see what her term, because that's how I kind of look at this point, this post-no confidence vote parliament now. See kind of how she acts toward this, because quite frankly, I'm hoping that much like, for example, Tulsi Gabbard, who went to one of these and I think probably didn't really know what it was, found out later what it was, and was like, hey, I'm kind of regret going, but you're not a bad person if you went. I'm not saying that, okay? You're not automatically tarred with the brush that you're WEF. But now that you know, okay? And when you understand this, put aside whether you like Trump, hate Trump, you think he's, whatever you think of him, okay? When the President of the United States issues an executive order that says that this stuff creates extraterritorial jurisdiction and is an attack on sovereignty and we have to recapture it, I have to bring this up in my adoptive homeland where this is a real issue and has historically been an issue. So hopefully this will all work out in a way that is most beneficial to Thailand. We'll certainly keep you updated on this channel as the situation evolves.